two-time Olympian and Olympic bronze medalist, and you're listening to and watching another episode of Global Sports Channel's Sports Personality Spotlight. And today, oh, I have a treat for you, a rising star in track and field. I'm not even going to waste time blabbing on because I can blab on. You do know this already. I want to introduce you to, if you haven't heard of her already, you should have. I want to introduce you to Bendere Oboya. Bendere, welcome, 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 welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
We're so glad to have you. Where are you calling from right now?
I'm in Sydney, Australia. So yeah, all
Nice.
on that side.
I ha- I had a little time in Sydney myself, and it was very very enjoyable. Is that where you live?
Yeah, I've been here ever since I was 3. So it's been here.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been here for a while. I'm 20 now. So yeah,
Wow. So that's what, 17 years? See, I need to go back to
about,
school.
yeah. I don't even know how many years.
So where you say you've been there since you were 3, where were you prior to moving to Sydney?
Well, I was born in Ethiopia, and then my family and I came here when I was 3, and
Right.
then from then, yeah, we just stuck to Australia.
Nice. And what was the inspiration for the move? Why were your family moving from Ethiopia to Australia? Was it for business or what was happening with everyone at the time?
I guess to have a better life. I was quite young to really understand what
Yeah.
was happening. But yeah, now that I am older, I do understand that it was necessary to move. So
Right,
yeah.
right, right. Well, what's your family situation like? Do you have brothers and sisters? And what's the day to day like for you? Because we got to get to know the person. One of the things about track and field is like I used to get really grumpy because whenever people would come and talk to me, they'd be like, "Hey, Tasha, how's your training?" Like no one would ever say like, "Hey, Tasha, how are you?" So,
Yeah.
so we want to get to know you, the person. So tell us a little bit about your life, your upbringing, do you have brothers and sisters, all that good, juicy stuff that people never get to really hear about.
Yeah. Well, I'm the youngest of 6. I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. I kind of just, I don't know, I'm an introvert. I stay on my own, do my own thing.
Right.
Um,
The
apart
baby
from
of the
training,
family.
apart
Do
from
they
training, I
spoil
do.
you?
Well, I like kind of doing stuff on my own. So
Right.
I am kind of independent. Um, but apart from training, I do photography. If not that, I'm hanging out
Nice.
with friends. If not that, I love adventures, driving, going for long drives, and yeah, I
My
kind of
kind of
like
girl.
giving myself that space and
Yeah.
athletics, like kind of giving that barrier and then
Right.
switching off and switching on from being an athlete. So I like to do that.
Right. It's really smart because I think having observed people in sports for a long time now, and I see the ones that like are just 100% nothing else, and it's admirable in a sense because you see the dedication, but at the same time, one little thing goes wrong and they'd like totally fall apart because they have
Yeah.
nothing else. So tell me about the photography, like. Do you have a flashy camera, or do you use your iPhone or your cell phone, or what do you take pictures of? What has inspired you to do photography?
Well, I've kind of like loved taking photos, but I never knew if I liked being in front of it or behind it. So I'm
Right.
still trying to figure that out. But I do have a camera. I got myself a camera. It's like a Canon 80D,
Oh,
and so I'll take that everywhere I go, kind of. But I do like taking photos of people so far,
right.
just like portraits. Yeah, I haven't really enjoyed like I don't really enjoy like taking photos of nature and stuff. I don't know.
Right,
I kind
right,
of just
right,
get more excited of taking photos of people. So
right, right.
yeah, I just love doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I have been sneakily stalking on your Instagram um a couple weeks back, and you take some amazing pictures. You look
Thank
stunning.
you.
Like, are you thinking about modeling? Are you into that, or is that just the photographer in you, finding those perfect poses? Because I mean, you just look amazing, girl. Like, I expect you to be the next Naomi Campbell after you finish,
So
ruling the world in track and field.
well, I don't know. It's kind of I don't. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess I just like doing it, or it's kind of fun for me. But yeah, modeling, I don't see myself doing it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not that tall. So in person, I'm not tall at all.
No
It
one
might
is
look like that
tall
on
any
social media.
no one cares about tall anymore. That was back in the day. You can be any height these days. But yeah, I mean, amazing, stunning. So no surprise there. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you're an artsy person?
Um, Not really.
Not really, just
Yeah.
mostly in the photography sense. So tell me
Yeah.
about this school and everything, like balancing education and running track. How has that been for you? Like, I suppose potentially being an introvert, maybe you kind of just get up to yourself and get on with it. But has it been challenging trying to, I know being a daughter of Caribbean, I know Caribbean families, we're just talking about this on another webinar. Caribbean families and families from Africa do not mess around when it comes to education. It's like A's or nothing, right? So how has it been for you? Has it been smooth ride educationally, or is it a challenge? Like, tell me about how school's been for you.
Well, I kind of stopped balancing school and athletics when I was 17. So when I
Right.
did graduate in 2017, that's when I kind of stopped going to school. I know I
Yeah.
didn't need that backup plan, but I don't know. For me personally, I like to focus on one thing, and the goal was
Right.
the Olympics, and
Right.
then to go from then to start like studying photography afterwards. But my
Right.
plan didn't go quite well. Um, but my parents have been really supportive, like not being like, go to school, go that. So
Right.
they've just let me like, especially my mum, she'd be like, hey, you gotta focus, you gotta go to sleep. She's
Right.
more up in my ear than myself. So it's good that she is there, keeping me on track. But yeah, with school, it's just it hasn't been I haven't found that I guess I haven't experienced balancing it. But
Right.
hopefully I do soon. I think I'll be all right with it.
So are you taking photography classes actually now, or are you doing like learning? How are you learning about photography? Is it just kind of you teaching yourself, or are you going online and looking stuff up? How are you developing that?
Yeah, I've taught myself how to take photos.
Nice.
Mostly sometimes when I do get photographed by photographers, it's like I ask them questions and I'll be like to them, "Oh, did you go to
Smart.
school?" And they'll be like,
Yeah.
"No, I didn't go to school. I self-taught myself." And I'll be like, "Okay." So then that's another reason why I've kind of just not really
Right.
taken that step. And I'm like,
Right.
if you guys can do that and you didn't go to school, I'm like, is there really
Hey.
a point? So
Right. I love it. No,
yeah,
that's really smart actually, because I'm sure given what you do, you're in front of the camera a lot, and to like sort of sneak behind there and be like, "Hey, can you tell me a bit about what you do?" That's probably the best education that you can get because you're there and you're live with them
yeah.
at that moment. So that's really. Have you thought about doing it on a sports level since you like people? Has that enticed you at all?
So my goal was, or well, my vision was a couple years ago to be the athlete that takes my camera along with me to camps or takes it
Nice.
to like world championships with me. But as I got older and realized how much goes into sport, I'm like, I can't be taking a camera with me. I need to be like focusing on my event. So yeah, um,
Right.
I don't know. I don't really into the like I like seeing shots of me taken, like running, but I don't know how they do it. I don't think I could be able to do it.
Right.
It would be
Right.
great, but yeah.
Right. Well, they may have thought the same thing when they first started out. Probably just takes a
Yeah.
little bit of time. And you talked about how supportive your mum is for you in keeping you on track. And I'm always telling people having accountability or having an accountability partner. Like we kind of have that built in because we have coaches for what we do,
Mhm.
and they expect us to show up at a certain time. But it can make a huge difference. And I think people feel that if they don't you know have this sort of like, okay, I'll get up and go and I'll do this and I'll eat right and I'll wake up at the right time, that maybe that means they're not as passionate about their goal. And I 100% disagree with that. How important
Yeah.
is it for you, or do you think it is for athletes in general, to have that sort of family network or that friendship network that supports you and helps you in your goals?
It's definitely important. I guess sometimes you do like I'll say lack a couple of things, and it's important to do have your family and friends to be there to lift you back up. So it's really important, and I will say it's really important for your mental health too.
Right,
So
right.
something not talked about a lot in sport, but something I think all athletes do experience a time in their career where they do like do try to fall not try to fall off, but do fall off. So it's great to have family and friends there.
Yeah. That's a really interesting one because I had like, major mental health issues, especially towards the end of my career. So for you to say that at age 20 and be aware of that is so good. What is your experience on the mental health side now? Like, how did you come to that realization at such a young age? Because I wish I knew that at your age. Like, how did you realize how important that mental health issue was for, especially for an athlete?
Mm, well, I guess I don't think I've always been an introvert, but what year was it? Maybe 2019, 18. I kind of went through a rough patch where I had to kind of get myself together and be like, oh, because I'm an introvert, I didn't really tell a lot of people. I just did on my own, and
Right,
I learned that it is important to pick yourself back up, but it is important to have other people. But um, once you pick yourself back up, I don't know, it was just another kind of strength that you do unlock.
right,
But I learned that quite, yeah, I think it was at the end of 2019. After Doha, I did change coaches, and it just had a really mental effect on me. Not after switching coaches, but before it. So it was
right,
kind of like, am I going to America? I can't go there. I have to get used to everything, get used to the new things. I have Olympics coming up. Like it was kind of like I can't move. I have to stay in Sydney. I didn't know what coach to go to. So that's when I was really aware of how important mental health is because I'm like, okay, damn, I need to get myself together.
right,
But I did go through a phase, so I think it was really what I did go through that made me aware of how important it was because I didn't want to run anymore. I didn't want to do all these other stuff. So it was like, if that's not fixed, if you're not fixing within yourself, you can't be, you can't really perform that well.
right. So do you think if you had to describe it in one word, would you say that what led to what you call a rough patch was overwhelm? Or would you define it as something else?
Um, I think it was overwhelming at the time.
Right,
Um, yeah, very overwhelming. But like I did say, I did have family and friends that did help me.
right.
Um, but yeah, I
When
was
you
quite
look
young, so
Yeah. When you look back at it now, be having the wisdom and the understanding that you have now, is there anything that could have been done for you or you could have done yourself that would have made that process easier? Because I always try to see what maybe someone can learn from your experience that may help them avoid going through those rough patches or those difficult times to such an intense degree. Is there anything looking back you could say, you know what, if I'd been able to do this, or if someone had said this, or is there any of that at all?
I wish I could say yes, but the answer is no. Only
Right,
because if I didn't make that decision to put myself first and leave and find a new journey, I the answer would be yes. I would be
right,
saying you should have done this, should have done that. But I was lucky enough to take the right steps, I guess. And
right,
yeah,
right.
so I don't look back at it. And right now, I look like I just look forward. I'm just like, hey, that was the best decision I ever made in my life.
I love it. That's kind of similar to what I experienced when I first went to university in America. Oh my God, that first year I was like, take me back home. I never want to see this place again. The first holiday we had, I went right back home and started looking for other universities. But looking back now, I would never change that decision. I'm glad I stuck with it. So I can
Yeah.
definitely relate to how you felt about that. So speaking of your journey, where did it all begin with you and sports?
Well, it kind of started when I was younger. I've always wanted to see, you always want to do things, but you don't know how to start. So
Right,
I always wanted to run, but I didn't know how to start. So all I did was really run at little athletics. I mean, not little athletics. I did start little athletics after that, but I did run at school carnivals, and that was like twice a year. And I'll be like, hey, I'm not really a school girl, so like I did really go to school for that one thing,
yeah,
was to like race the boys and stuff. But I did start little athletics when I was, I think it was 14 or 15. And then I did that for a couple of years. I went from little athletics to little athletics. And then I was like, I don't know, I wasn't really quite satisfied. Like, I know that you have to have fun. I did want to, I'm a competitive girl. Like, I've been competitive my whole life. I didn't see fun, fun, fun. I just seen,
right,
okay, I want to get better. I want to get better. So I did move from athletics to athletics, and then I got invited to Canada, and I went there, and then I broke 59 seconds. But before that, I think it was 2 weeks or a month before that, I found a coach, and then I trained with that coach. First, I was just training with him for like this competition that I think it was for Canada.
right.
And then after I came back, I just kept training, and my times just went from 59 to 58 to 57. Oh, I think I missed 57, then went 56. I don't know. And then my time just kept dropping, and that's how I got here. Kind
Wow.
of just
Well,
like learn athletics and how it all is.
right. Wow. So when you look at, your relationship with your coach and coaches in the past, what impact do you think coaching has on you as an individual? Is it just the running, or is it or does the coach have more of an impact on you as a person, not just an athlete?
I will definitely say the coach definitely has an impact on you. He's not just a person running the programs. Um,
Right.
I wouldn't say like I wouldn't say how do I put this? I don't know. I never really wanted that like friendship kind of thing
Right.
with my coach. I wanted that to have that barrier that okay, I
Right.
come training, I do this. But yeah, we could laugh and stuff, but I did really want to keep my personal stuff aligned, like
Yeah.
away from track. So when that did get into track, that got a bit messy, and that was the reason why everything did go downhill in 2019.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I would say your coach definitely does have an impact. No matter
Right.
how much you think that you're the one running, no, you need your coach to be on your side, help you with your mental health if they can,
Right.
because it does affect your running. And yeah.
Right. So, I mean, and I'll ask you this because it's a personal question, but and feel free to say I bypassed this question, Tasha. I will not be offended, and no one will be bothered by it. But what kind of personal thing was overlapping that made it that an uncomfortable situation in 2019? Because I've seen both. Like you said, I've seen where you just keep it straight and narrow, that's over there, that's over there, but then I've seen where it's like they're all involved and you know about boyfriends and girlfriends and all kinds of stuff. What was going on with you that you felt like that shouldn't have crossed over, if you don't mind answering that?
Oh no, I'm fine with answering that. Um, I would say there was a lot of things actually, but I'll just say one where I kind of knew it was kind of bad. I don't know what year it was, but every year on my birthday was kind of just like, okay, like ruined. Like I don't know, just something would happen. So
Right.
one time, yeah, it's just everything was just an event that was supposed to be happy was always ruined, I guess.
Gotcha.
And it had nothing to do with track. Like I was
Right.
on my break. My birthday's after nationals, so it's when I do have an off season, or
Right.
it's every year it's like that. So then it was always on my birthday, I think. Yeah. But I don't know how much times I called my best friend crying because something did happen, and then I would go to the track. Like it was just like getting kicked out of group chats. Like it just wasn't right. And then I was just like,
Right.
nah, I'm
Right.
I'm deserving of better. So yeah.
Right. Right. So that said, how how does someone find the right coach? Like, how do you pick a coach? Because I know when you're young, it's you kind of just like someone says, go over there or go over there. But
Mm.
you are very wise. You know, I can tell you have a you're older than your years, right? So how would you say that someone, what they should be thinking about when they're choosing a coach? Not just that's good, but that's right for them.
Definitely listen to how the coach talks. How he engages himself into you, how he listens to you before making the move.
Right,
Before I did move to John, he did mention that an athlete has to take care of themselves or the person who they were before an athlete. And that really like just flipped everything on because at that time everything was kind of my mental health wasn't great. So as
right,
soon as he said that, and knowing that he's someone that does put your health first and does, I mean, like everyone can write a program, anyone can write a program.
right,
So knowing that he um did care about his athletes in that way, I was like, hey Ben, I'm off to John.
right, right. Great.
Yeah.
So, do you think that there's a clear point where an athlete should be able to identify when it's time to move on? Or is it that, it's kind of a thing where it almost has to fall apart before it's time to move on? Because I see a lot of athletes sticking around with certain coaches that
Mm.
probably aren't a good match for them anymore. Maybe they were at one point, but they just seem to stay around. Like, from your experience that you've had so far, is there a point where you can know, hey, listen, it's time to move on, and do you know straight away that to just go ahead and do it, or do you kind of ride it out just to be sure?
I guess you don't really know when. Um, I'll say performance wise, I did move right after I ran my Olympic qualifier, so my PB. So close to 50. I know some people probably like, why did she make that move? But I guess people don't see everything behind the scenes.
Right.
So I guess you don't really know when the right time is, but you might feel like it is because I remember calling out my friends and I was like, okay, I'm ready to move. And it wasn't even just like it was probably the happiest I've ever been.
Right.
It wasn't like emotionally like I wasn't emotionally attached. It was just like, okay, bye. Like, I've
Right. Right.
although that dead person did help me get me far, there was no like I would say there was no like emotion, there was no tears. So it was just like,
Right.
yeah, I guess it's a decision you have to make on your own. And you could stay, but then you have to think long term, like, hey, in 4 months or this much months, I have this to do. Like, do I really want to make decisions to leave now?
Right.
Um, so I guess it is a decision that you have to make on your own. No one can tell
Yeah.
you, okay, you got to leave now. You can do it and listen to other people, but as you're going to be the one on the track in a couple of
Right.
months, not them.
Right. Right. I see what you're saying, because you do. I mean, it is. I'm glad that for you, it's just definitely like, hey, listen, this is just what I have to do. It's not an emotional thing. It's business, basically, you
Yeah.
know. And I think that takes a lot of courage, because a lot of athletes do get caught up in the emotion of it. So, and you're still here. Not, nothing terrible happened. You made that choice, and it worked for you. So now let's
Yeah.
talk about, like you said, you did your Olympic qualifier. Let's talk about your first major championship. Tell me about that whole experience. Did you know that you were ready now? Like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna drop this time. Chicks, watch out, here I come. I was about to say something else there, but trying to keep this family friendly. You know, tell me about that whole process of gearing up for your first major.
Um, oh, it was a lot different from my first senior competition. That was Commonwealth Games.
Right.
So I tried to I was just happy, I guess. Really different from how I was at the start. Before my race, I like at the start line, I was just really happy, just taking it all in something I didn't do before.
Yeah.
And then I just really surprised myself. I kind of went in there knowing that I was in shape. I ran a quick 300 before I did go in, so I knew I could run something quick as long as I did stick with the girls, or just stick to my race plan.
Right.
So after that, I was just like, hey, like anything's really possible. I don't know. That's kind of my
Right.
mindset.
I love it. Now, from a very early point in your career, there was already starting to be that Kathy Freeman comparison, like, is she going to be the next? Was that a lot of pressure? I mean, you were like 17, I think, or at the time. It's like, just a baby, like, hold on, calm down.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that comparison? Was it comfortable or uncomfortable? Where was your mind at with that?
Well, obviously, I would love to be compared. If I could be compared to anyone else, I would love to be compared to Kathy.
Right.
But me personally, I am a type of person who likes to be my own person. So I remember when I was like, I think I was 18 or 17 when it did come out, I was just like, wait, I just want to be Bendere Oboya. So I kind of still have that, like, I just want to be Bendere, run
Yeah.
how I run. The comparisons will always be there, I guess.
Right.
But as long as you know who you really are, it doesn't really affect me. I kind of like the pressure. I don't know. I love running with pressure. I don't know if that sounds really weird, but I kind of take it on and just, yeah, I run better.
Nice. I love that. So now you've been to an Olympic Games, right? Which one was yours? Which one was your Olympic Games?
I actually haven't been to Olympic Games
I thought
yet.
you went to I thought,
I
you
went to
know what?
Commonwealth Games.
That's
Yeah.
okay. You know what? I
Yeah.
get my games mixed up. They're all this they're all jumbled up into one. So you went to your which Commonwealth Games were you at?
I was at 2018 Commonwealth Games where I did my
Okay.
hamstring on the bend. Yeah.
Ah,
So
right.
it was one
So
to remember, but
were you working towards the Tokyo Games, or how has that whole process been for you?
kind of good to be honest. I know that like some people will probably be like, "Oh my god, it got cancelled." But I guess maybe for other people, like for me, for example, did kind of work out good. Not getting in the off season, and then running last season was something that like I was like, but having this off season, getting it in, and then knowing that like okay got another year until Olympics, got a couple more months to train, put in more work,
Yeah,
um was great.
love that. Well, I've already signed you up for the Olympics apparently, so that could be a good sign. So what's it going to take? What's it going to take, Mandari? What's it going to take for you to get on that Olympic team? Do you think there's much you, whether it's Tokyo or the next one, because you're still young, you could probably go to three more. What will it take for you to get there, and what are you hoping to accomplish when you get there? I know people who don't really understand sport is like, oh, are you going to win? Like, slow down. This is
Yeah.
the biggest competition on planet Earth. Like, what once you get there, what are your initial aspirations?
Well, I'm kind of taking it step by step. Me and my coach always we'll talk and be like, hey, Olympics is long, or this is what we're going to do at the Olympics. But for me, it's making it to a final, and then from then on, you really don't know what's going to happen. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
just training to get through the rounds. I know you gotta. Some people like my PB is not that fast, so I know that each round I'll have to go out hard to make a final. So just getting that enough training to back up all these rounds. So yeah.
right, right. I know at one point you did a little bit of distance running. And I see now you've kind of come back to where us scared people. live in the 400 and underworld. Like, what made you decide to stick to more of the 400 as opposed to the distance disciplines? Because you were pretty good at distance too.
Well, when I was younger, I just really just did cross country, and I'm like, cross country is not for me. And then I
I
went
feel
on
you.
to, I remember, I remember doing like, I don't know if I went past 1500 or I didn't even go to, no, 1500. I didn't even do a 1500. I don't think so. 800. I did
Yeah.
800. Wasn't really amazing. I remember not crossing over in the race. It was like, oh, it was everywhere. And then
Right.
I'm like, never again. So then I just went to the four. But I guess I think the four kind of picked me. I didn't pick it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like to see it that way. Everyone will be like, but you're Ethiopian, you should be running longer.
Oh
And
my
I'm just
God.
like, but like I don't really think I can run longer. But yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it's so funny when you have our heritage, like you're from the Caribbean or you're from Africa. People say the craziest things. Like, I was just talking to some other athletes who are quite legendary in the sport, and one of the ladies was saying that when she came to the US to go to university, they asked her, was this the first time she was wearing clothes? Like, was this her first set of clothes that she like, have you had any other weird things that people have like, "Oh, yeah, you're Ethiopian, you should be doing the marathon or something." Has there been any other strange things that you've heard along the way?
No, it's kind of always that one. That one will never leave. It's always going to be that one. Or I'll be like, "Are you sure you want to do 400s?" Or I'll be
Right.
like, "Yeah."
Okay, well, this
That's
is a
kind of
public service announcement, everybody. All Ethiopians do not run long distance, and all tall people do not play basketball. So we just set the world straight there.
love
So,
it.
so when you're traveling, have you had a chance to like actually run on the circuit yet, or has it been more national championships? Because Sydney is a long way from Europe, where all the Grand Prix happen. Have you had a chance to really get out and try your legs on the circuit?
No, and it's something I like want to do. Like I'm that type of girl who wants to be chucked in the big races. I want to push myself. It's kind of is hard in Sydney, in Australia,
Right,
but I did after Doha, that's when I did go with Stella. So I haven't
right,
got that chance to and then the virus came. So I
right,
haven't got that chance to go on the circuit. It's something I would love to do. But for now, I guess I just have to wait.
right. Well, it's coming, honey. You're in the right spot because I know Stella will definitely make sure you get out there. So, what are your goals for this year, and who do you think is your biggest competition in standing in between you and those goals?
Um, my goal is it's going to be hard-ish, depending on, I don't know, everything it just has to go, like, depending on what track I'm running on, my competition, I don't know, but regardless, I just want to break 51. I want to run a 50. It's been a goal for a while now. Regardless of if there's Olympic or not, I still want to run 50. I don't know how that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, but I would definitely, with the training right now, it's definitely going to come. But my biggest competition will have to be myself. I know everyone always asks me like, who inspires you, all this stuff, and I'm just like myself. So my
Yep.
answers are really only myself. It's really just you and you.
Yeah, it's so funny talking to you, right? Because I feel like I'm talking to myself. Like so much of the stuff you say is exactly what I would say. People are like, "Who did you watch as you were growing up?" Nobody. I didn't even watch track and field. Like I barely watch it now. Like to be honest with you, my partner loves it, so I'm forced to watch it. But not that I don't love it, but it's just like you've seen so much of it, and I never really had someone that I was looking at growing up, and like you said, I just wanted to be my best me. So that's kind of where I was focusing. So a lot of the stuff you're saying, I'm like, I can relate. You know,
Yeah.
one of the things that I talked about recently on a webinar was the food situation. Now, when you've traveled, has that ever been an issue for you? Because I was shocked by the amount of distress apparently that a lot of athletes who were traveling to Europe and traveling to America from other countries were having with food. Has that ever been a thing for you, like going to places and being like, oh my God, I'm gonna starve to death if I have to eat this?
No, but I remember. Oh, actually, yes. I remember what year was it? It was 2017, and we're in the Bahamas, and they told us, "Don't eat something you don't know." And then
Right,
I remember, I don't know, I just forgot that rule, and I did, and then I felt really, I felt sick, but it was fine. It wasn't really, I had time to
right,
get myself together. So yeah, that was, I don't know. For me, I'm not really, I don't know. I'm not fussy when it comes to that. If it's
right.
something that like I'm used to, I've learned to. Let's just say I've learned to stick to things I'm used to.
Right. Okay, so that's another public service announcement, people, especially athletes. We are so helping people today. It's ridiculous. Okay. Another public service announcement. If you don't know it, if you can't recognize it, don't eat it. All right. Unless it's the only thing on planet Earth you can eat. So I know it's early days to ask this question because you're really just beginning your adventure as a professional athlete, like in real terms. And I've watched you. I've seen some of your results. I've seen the way you've run. I've watched some of your races, and clearly you have a future in this. But have you thought about what you would do once track and field is over? Because it seems like such a long time. Like I ran for 20 years, but when it was over, I was like, oh man, I should have been thinking about what I wanted to do when it was over.
Yeah,
Have you thought about that at all?
yeah. I know it doesn't seem like I might, but I think about it all the time. I'm just like,
Wow.
geez, like, yeah. I don't know. I've always known I'd need a plan B, and school wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But I know I need to get myself together and
Right.
actually figure it out. Photography, once I want to really do that, but then I know, like, let's be real, we're just trying to make money here. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's something that I do look at, and I'm just like, wait, but I need to do this, and then but I'm slowly taking my time. I definitely know I need to go to school. Um, but in terms of something I like actually want to be or do, because I know that it changed when I was younger. I did want to be a doctor, and then now I'm an athlete. Um, so I think it's just gonna take me just some time to like sit down, and be like, hey, what do you like enjoy like doing like apart from like photography?
I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to hire you to mentor. Forget about the next generation. I'm gonna have to hire you to mentor adults because your wisdom and your insight on life in general is just like, oh my God, if I thought the way you think when I was your age, I would be like Beyonce level right now. But we all have our own journey. But just having that awareness that you do need to think about it. Of course, you don't have to have the answer today, but the fact
Yeah,
that you have the awareness that you do need to think about it, it's something that you need to consider. And the good thing is, like you said, you have time. You still have some time. You can try a bit of photography in your off time. You can
yeah.
try a bit of something else you like. So that's really, really good insight. I love it. So, what's next on the agenda? What's coming up in the immediate future for you? Are there any meets before the Olympics if they roll around? Are there any meets that you have to compete in, or is it going to be like straight dry into the championships or trials, or like how's that going to work out if the Olympics do go ahead?
Well, I don't know. Actually, why am I saying I don't know? Like, me and my coach do talk about this constantly.
Right.
But there are I know that little meats, I know that you do need to use them. So there are some little meats that I can use to get my time down. Obviously, I will be maybe, oh, Siri just talked. Maybe I will be just like trying to run on my own on some of the races, but it's just what you got to do. I do train with
Yeah,
boys, so it does help. Couple time trials, and when the bigger races come, if they do let us like travel to Brisbane or like Melbourne, get in some quick times, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
right,
I don't think Europe, maybe like China or something, or Japan. But for now, I don't know about going outside of Australia. I just know about what we're going to do inside
right,
Australia. And I guess
right.
time trials, or like maybe try and run with the boys. Maybe that won't really count as anything, because obviously, but just getting that race prep in.
Right, right. Now you've mentioned training with the boys quite a bit. For people that don't really understand the purpose of that, to talk about why you use that as part of your training with the fellas.
Well, for me, the boys that I train with are really like, like you gotta like, I'm just that little like really like quiet girl, and they're just like screaming. But no, I do love training with them because there is another training partner that's like so close to my PB. So I do really
Right.
try to stick with him. It's been helped me a lot. Before I did run my qualifier, I was kind of training on my own, but not training my own.
Right.
Like I did have a coach there, but it was just like, okay, I'm in this lane, there's no one else around me. So
Right.
to have like training sessions now where I'm with guys, and um it's not experiencing, but like trying to run at their pace, it really does
Yeah.
help. I know I do
Right.
die, but like at the end of the day, you are going to die at a session. So it's just like how
Right.
much you push yourself.
Right. So they're kind of like just a little bit ahead of you, and you can kind of hang on to their
Yeah.
coattails to get
Yeah. I
your
just have to
speed up.
hang on.
I love
Kind
it. Now,
of
speaking
just
of
hang in.
male and female issues, I've talked about this with a few guests. I'm curious to know, in our sport, there's been a lot of talk about, does intersex and transgender, do those athletes have a place in the sport? And should transgender women, so originally male, have decided to be female, or whatever the right phrase is to define that, competing against women? What's your thoughts on that? And have you had to race any transgender, or have you heard any talk about that? And do you have a stance or a position or thoughts on that?
I haven't raced a transgender or anything like that, but like I do have, yeah, I have seen talk on it, but I never really had my opinion on it.
Right,
All I really know is just like, I don't know, just to be fair, the rules are rules. I just don't think that you should be changing your gender to race. In like, let's say if a man was to change to a girl, I don't think it would be fair to do that, to go the girls' race. Um, but yeah, my opinions with that is just to be fair right now.
right. And I think really that is kind of what sport is all about, is figuring out how to make it fair, which is why there's, always talk about drugs, and making sure that drugs aren't in the sport as much as possible, and
Yeah.
so that we can all race fair. So I definitely see you on that. So I'm about to wrap this up, because I know at 20 years old, you got a whole bunch of things you want to do. You got Instagram selfies to do, you've got freaking photography to do, friends to call, all that good stuff. But before we go, I always like to play a little game with my guests of this or that. So I'm just going to say one thing or the other, and you just choose one. Okay, you good for that?
Yeah.
All right. So Android or iPhone? Real
Oh
easy.
my god. Oh my goodness. That is not even an iPhone.
She's like, I've like asked this to so many people, and I've only had one Android, and I'm feeling really bummed because I have an Android. So
Oh
I'm feeling like I'm like a
no
dinosaur here.
way.
I'm like,
Yo, you gonna get yourself an iPhone.
I'm living on another planet or something. So I'm just, every time I'm like, come on, say Android, and nope, everyone's like iPhone. So, all right. Next
It's only
question.
okay, sorry about that.
No worries. We had a little blooper there, guys. Don't worry. Hang in there. We're rounding up. We still have to play our game. We can't leave without playing our game. So I've just been exposed as a dinosaur because I'm an android. And so we're swiftly moving on to the next question. Otherwise, Benderi's just going to keep laughing at me. So, next question is world record or Olympic gold?
I would say no. I'm gonna say world record only because I don't know if I'm only the person I'm only like this, or I don't know if everyone is like this. But if I was to go Olympics and run a bad time, I'll be so mad. So I'll go
Right.
for the time.
Love it. Okay, next question. 200 meters or the 400 meters?
400 meters.
Last question. At home with your camera, your phone, your friends, your creature comforts, or traveling the world to compete?
Traveling the world to compete.
And now my Oprah moment, my Oprah Winfrey moment. Here it is. What do you want the world to know?
Hmm. I don't. That's a hard one. What do I want the world to know? Hmm. I need a minute for this one. What do I
That's
want the
okay.
world to know?
And it could be about sports, it could be about you, it could be about, how to be successful, anything.
I want the world to know that Black Lives Matter.
There you go. I love it. Now, Benzeri, if people want to find you, if they want to see your gorgeous pictures online, if they want to follow your progress, if they want to see what you end up doing after you retire, if they want to see you make that Olympic team I've already signed you up for, how do they find you?
My Instagram is underscore Bendere, so Bendere. My Twitter is Bendere Oboya, and that's all I really use. Yeah,
Awesome. Love
that's
it
it.
so much. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. I'll be excitingly looking forward to seeing what happens with you. I hope COVID doesn't interfere too much with the ambitions that you have for your this year and your career as a whole. And we just look forward to seeing you and your success. So, all the best, and thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you. I'm about to take a photo, so I'll just post
Oh,
this on
okay,
my.
honey. Make sure I get my good side.
Oh wait, hold on. I'll give you a shout. Okay, lovely.
There
Okay.
we go. I love it. That was
Thank you so
so cool. All right,
much.
honey. Talk to you
Oh wait,
soon.
before can you say on the live your Instagram?
Yeah.
Or
You
oh
want to
yeah.
say, you want me to say mine?
Yeah, just like the start of
Oh
it or
yeah.
whatever, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
okay. Just-
Tell me when you're ready.
Okay, let me go on it. Okay. Yes.
You ready to go?
It's yeah, I think it's TA.
Yeah, it's Tasha the Olympian. And for the show, it's the Global Sports Channel.
Love it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, all
Yeah, I
right,
got it.
honey. Wonderful. All right, babes. Talk to you soon. Good luck with everything.
Bye. Thank
Ciao
you
for
so
now.
much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Oh my God, she's such a old soul, like in a good way, in an absolutely good way. She's like wise beyond her years. Like, I am not kidding when I say to you that I wish I knew half of what she knows now at 20, like all about finding a coach, about mental health, about, making sure she's supported and surrounded by the right people and kind of taking things in her stride. Like, I thought I was smart when I was young, but now I'm starting to question myself, and I'm definitely questioning the fact that I have an Android. Thanks a lot, Binteri. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Global Sports Channel, Sports Personality Spotlight. Make sure you like, share, and follow. We need your support just as much as the athletes need support. We want you to support this show because Behind just the conversations is a lot going on. We are really driving passion to help athletes with a lot of the things that we are discussing, whether it's mental health, whether it's life after track, whether it's during your career, all of these things. There is a force that is happening behind this show. It's not just about the show. So, in order to drive that, to get more attention to that, in a lot of these issues, finances, all these things that athletes need support with in order to be their very best, it helps if you help us. So, the way you can help is by liking, by sharing, by following, by commenting, and letting others know about the fantastic things that are going on. So make sure you go to www.globalsportschannel.com and check us out and tell your friends. Okay. Anyway, that's all from me because you know I love to ramble. So, ciao for now. See you next time.